It's Coach Carrie, your fitness and well-being advisor for thePause. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Angelia Sewer. Angelia worked as an ER nurse for 18 years and as a cardiology nurse for 6 years. She has her doctorate in health sciences with an emphasis on global health. She is an expert in health literacy, and she is passionate about changing the lack of education in women's health. And this is such an important thing to talk about because we see it all the time. People are asking questions, especially in menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, because they have no clue. And where is the education? I mean, now, at least today, we're seeing more of it online, but I still, even my 17-year-old daughter the other day asked me what menopause is. So, Angelia, just tell me a little bit about your journey. I know you told me before that you had to watch your mom go through health issues during menopause, and how did that shape your journey?
I don't think I really put together my mom was going through menopause until I actually started perimenopause. And it was more cemented when my niece came to me because my sister wouldn't talk to her about menopause. There lies a problem
Mm,
for many younger adults that are experiencing it or seeing a change in their body. The younger set is very in tune with their bodies. They don't play any games when something is happening there. Whereas for us, we were always told, not my mother, not so much, but push through, go through, and especially as uh, a Latina Black woman, that's one of the resounding things that you're taught if you're trying to get ahead.
yeah.
Um, in retrospect now, I remember my mom was also Dr. Doris Sewer, and I remember her, she was probably in her 40s or something like that. And she would be talking to me, and all of a sudden she breaks out with a sweat. And I was like, what in the world is happening here? And you could see my mom was basically a very calm person, very predictable. And her irritation would just be pronounced because she was very vain. And there's nothing wrong with that. She was just very aware of how she looked and smelled.
Mm,
So now you're looking at her and she has all this sweat on her and she's beyond annoying.
mm,
So I remember then, and then that rubbed off on me because now when mine started, I was in ER and I'd be talking to someone and my nose would start glistening or, um, I would just feel that sense of heat just starting from like the base of my feet, um, in between my legs, the back of my neck. And I was like embarrassed, like, and when you look like that, you're scaring your patient because they're wondering, what should this person even be taking care of me looking like that?
mm,
So the part that I like and that I hope to continue is to be open about the experience. The fact that my niece and I have developed a relationship where she's close enough to come and ask the questions that
mm,
my own sister wouldn't answer was important to me. The fact that that particular niece is very open and is sharing that information with other people. And Mia made it very, not Mia, but Dr. Charney made it very comfortable by accepting the invitation to talk to a group of, actually it was a mixed group. There were Latina, Black, and white women in the group that were her peers, friends, and some colleagues. And I think it was about 10 or 15. The fact that she was open to direct them in the path they needed to go, where to look for information, that she was getting ready to open her own private practice. Many of them were willing to come to Arizona and be treated.
mm,
Those are the things that we need to see with more
mm.
practitioners. I
Right.
just recently learned that the average medical student learns about perimenopause like for 1 hour. 1 hour. Let's not even talk about nursing school. They don't even teach it. So yeah, we have to get a handle. It needs to be built into the curriculum.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is a definite yes. We all need to know the information. And like you said, I have three daughters. So I want to make sure that they have the information going forward so they're not sitting there wondering what's going on with their bodies or their lives at some point in time. And it's up to us to make sure that we can pass that information on. Now, what are some of the issues facing the black community, black women in particular, when it comes to navigating this prime time journey through menopause and perimenopause? Like, I know we were talking the other day on our phone call, and I had no clue. So tell us, what are some of the issues facing black women today?
So for Black women, one of the biggest issues is trust. I just want to glance at my notes. And it starts from way back. They hear their parents, especially women from the South. The Tuskegee study was a syphilis study, and it affected hundreds of Black men that were not given the proper medication. It was penicillin for them to heal from syphilis. Then that experiment went on for 40 years, from 1932 to 1972. Then there was another one. There was forced sterilization in the 20th century without the women's knowledge. And this was occurring to Black women that were slaves. It's called the Mississippi appendectomies. I always kind of get that off. And then there was the exploitation of Henrietta Lacks, where they took her cancer cells in 1951 and were using them for medical research and didn't have her consent. Then you have Dr. Marion Sims, who was an OBGYN, and he was performing surgeries on slave women and not providing them anesthesia. So this is like going all the way back. Black women, minority women in general, have a reason to be kind of, I don't know about this,
Right.
Then when you talk about the medications that are being given, like metformin and all of that, a lot of people don't understand that when they do these tests, it's done on a 5'9", 140-pound, blonde hair, blue-eyed individual. Where's your demographics? How do you know it's,
Right.
So when you have that kind of medical distrust, what it does is it delays and causes you to avoid care, which actually causes whatever's going on to just get worse. Now you're going to have issues with mental health. Now you're going to have issues with, your maternal disparities if you're on the younger end. Then you're dealing, sometimes a lot of us as healthcare providers or professionals do not and have not tapped into our unconscious and conscious biases. Huge. You walk into a room, your facial expressions, the way you gesture, your tone, we can look at you and tell if you have any cultural competency training just from the way you're dealing with us.
So
that's the biggie. And then the second thing is health literacy. That's huge.
Yeah.
There's with health literacy, and health literacy is the second part of that.
Right. And so with the health literacy, you were telling me especially, and this I had no clue. You're saying especially men and of course young people have no clue. I didn't realize that, in certain areas that there's men that just don't know. And I never thought about it till recently. And, I saw something funny on the internet the other day, and a female reporter was asking men, how do women pee if they have a tampon in? And about 10 men had no clue. One of them said it must be painful. Like one of them said they pull it to the side. And I realized, wow, but how are they gonna know if there's no...
For example, in the African culture, the mothers don't talk to men about it. Understand, for many African men, they go away to boarding school at 13. Where are they placed? They're not placed in a co-ed situation. They're placed with a bunch of other men who are just as clueless as they are. So they come out, they learn the craziness that they learn, and they think, okay, this is the way a man behaves. So they don't understand being engaged, being emotional, none of that. You're just like, okay, what's really happening here?
Mm.
But it's time to involve men
Mm-hmm.
because the stats, 6,000 women a day are encountering menopause or experiencing it. Only 8% of those women are actually formally diagnosed.
Mm.
That's huge. And guess who we're living with? Men, clueless men. Why are you irritable today? If you think about it, a lot of divorces happen while a woman is going through menopause.
Yeah, I just read
It's
that
not
stat
because
the
she
other
doesn't
day.
want to have sex.
Yeah.
It's just because my body's all over the place. You have absolutely no patience with me.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm so irritated now, I don't want to be bothered, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow. So going forward, just what is your hope, or what are some solutions, or where do we need to see some change so that we get health literacy to the men, to the young people, for women? What are some things that we would like to see coming in the future?
What was your question again?
Did I cut out a bit? What is your hope?
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
frozen.
What is your hope for the future of women's health, for health literacy? Where do we go from here? How do we open the doors maybe and get these conversations and education started?
First, it has to start with the way nursing and medical schools are done. It has to be inserted during residency, perimenopause, menopause, all of that could be inserted when you're teaching. I think cultural competency classes is a must. It's a biggie. You have to. Um, what I wish for women who have exposed is to reach back and stop hoarding this information and share it.
Mm,
And um, when the younger set is coming to us, make them feel like it's a safe space, like it's between these four walls, and their business is not going to be everywhere. It's not going to be put on all social media. It's not going to be just discussed with our other friends. It's not going to. What I loved about Dr. Trinity when we had that Zoom with my niece and her group was that reinforced that we were in our offices, the doors were closed, and whatever was said was a safe space for them to
mm,
discuss whatever. There was no topic that was off limits, from sex to vaginal dryness to whatever.
mm-hmm,
And they so appreciated it. If we, the next thing is that the health literacy part is a key issue.
mm-hmm.
It's time for healthcare providers to understand that there's 3 levels of health literacy. This person isn't trying to be um, dumb or stupid on purpose. There's a reason. There is a test that we can do. It takes less than 3 minutes. You use um, the carton of a ice cream. 6 questions. You'll know what category they're in. From functional literacy, which means, um, okay, I'm going to have to dummy this down, not in a bad way, lower than a 6th grade level, which
Right.
means this person has problems reading, writing, and the numeracy. So if I'm telling them about their medication and I say, this is the milligrams, they have no clue what I'm talking about. Take
Right.
1 pill during this time. They're
Yeah.
not able to process all this information. Reading the bottle, they don't get it. If you hear somebody saying, I need my glasses, I'll just wait till my daughter comes.
Mm,
Oh, the lights are too bright. I'll wait for the pharmacist. These are all clues that should click in and say this person has a health literacy problem. The
mm,
interactive stage is where this person is more engaged. They're asking you questions. They're understanding their follow-up visits. They can navigate through the healthcare system. So now
mm-hmm.
you can talk to them at a higher level without making them feel belittled. And then the highest level, which is critical thinking stage, is where this person is now engaging with you and they're actually saying, hey, So do you think maybe where I live is impacting my health? Ah, now they're thinking this through, and you
Mm,
know that they're at that level. And that's the level we really need to start teaching people, with other women. If they if they decide that this is where they're at, just accept them there and
mhm.
gently move them forward. Just give them the information. You never know whose life you impact.
Mm, great message. And
That's
I
my
love
opinion.
those stages. That's awesome. Such good info. And it really makes you think, if we're going to provide education, who are we providing it to? How do we create safety and trust? And then how do we get the information out so that somebody can understand it? Like if I'm saying the words vasomotor symptoms, a lot of people probably wouldn't know what that is. It wasn't something I knew
You have
until,
no clue.
right? Yeah, yeah. So you must see
When you
that.
go to the ER, the
Yeah.
discharge instructions that are given to you are written on a seventh grade level. There's a reason
Mm,
for that. That's where most of our population is.
yeah.
I remember when I was younger, as a girl growing up, my mom taught us about our periods, and she made us take a test at the end with the different parts of the body and had to. I thought this woman is out to lunch. You know what? That was the smartest thing she could have done.
Yeah.
What she should have done is involve perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause in that discussion because we were all attuned and we all knew we had to get 90 or above in order to get up out of that chair, right? So, it just starts with little things like that. So,
Oh, I
yeah.
love it. Thank you for that share. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing this great information and for opening up our
Uh,
minds to how
welcome.
we can do a better job serving people, which we're doing here at the Pause. And thank you so much for lending your voice to this great mission we have to help
I'm
a
so
lot of
proud of
women.
this group.
Aw. And the Pause
I'm
app.
so proud of this group. Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me to chat.
Thanks for coming. Take care.